I can't face Caitriona anymore. Sam Heughan and the dark days after personal scandal. The spotlight has never been brighter for Sam Heughan than it is right now. The final Outlander shoot has just wrapped. This should be a moment of relief, of celebration, of a goodbye hug between co-stars who have been together for nearly a decade. But Sam didn't come to the wrap-up party. He sent a short message to the cast group. I hope you understand. I need time. Number one said anything. Caitriona Balfe replied with an emoji folded hands. Simple, but full of silence. A silence that left Sam breathless. It all started just a few weeks ago, when the British tabloids published a series of articles about Sam, delving into his unclear past relationships, encounters, unflattering photos, rumors of unprofessional behavior at a few events. Nothing was ever confirmed, but the backlash was enough to shake a monument. An even more damning article, quoting a source close to him, claimed that Sam had had deep conflicts with his female co-stars, and was not always easy to work with. Fans panicked. Twitter exploded. Hashtags like hashtag Sam Heughan cancelled and hashtag Heughan drama appeared. His former admirers turned their backs on him. And the most heartbreaking thing of all, Caitriona had yet to say a word publicly. The unsent letter. In his Edinburgh apartment, Sam sat at an old wooden table overlooking the water of Leith. The laptop screen still showed the words he had typed, deleted, and retyped several times. Cat, I'm sorry, I don't know if I have the right to call you my friend anymore. He leaned back in his chair, his head in his hands. The shoulders that had once been the image of Jamie Fraser's hero now seemed to slump, heavy. Memories of the years he had spent with Kat surfaced. The first time they met at the audition, her eyes serious but warm. The time they both slipped away from the company party to drink wine backstage. The time she cried from exhaustion and he stayed late at night just to say, "You're not alone." But now, perhaps he had disappointed her beyond repair. He had thought that there was an inviolable, artistic bond between him and Kat. But that bond, in the harsh light of scandal and gossip, now looked as fragile as a cracked crystal glass. Unanswered calls. Sam had called Kat 3 times since the scandal broke. All 3 had gone unanswered. The message he sent afterward was simply, "I understand if you don't want to hear from me. But if you can, just say you're fine. I won't bother you again." Number reply. A close colleague on the set, Richard Rankin, sent Sam a private message. "Kat's not mad at you. She's just disappointed." The word, disappointed, felt like a cold knife piercing through his chest. If it was anger, it could be resolved with an apology. But disappointment was different. It was an emotion of eroded trust. Fan reactions, from love to betrayal. Sam had a fan base as loyal as a fortress. They loved him not just for Jamie Fraser, but for the image of a handsome, athletic, whiskey-loving, philanthropic Scottish man with a near-perfect appearance. But the internet is a double-edged sword. When in love, fans can worship like idols. But when they are disappointed, they can turn their backs faster than a mouse click. Reddit, Twitter, Facebook are full of controversy. Half of them think Sam is the victim of malicious fabrication. The other half demands that he take responsibility, that he disappear for a while, that he learn to be kinder. What hurts Sam the most is that someone uses his relationship with Caitriona as a weapon of attack. If Caitriona doesn't even stand up for you, then you're definitely not innocent. Caitriona's look, quiet but sharp. Although she doesn't speak publicly, Caitriona Balfe is still surrounded by reporters, rumors, and questions. Once, during an interview at the Venice Film Festival, where she debuted her new independent project, a reporter asked, "Have you kept in touch with Sam Heughan since the recent events?" Kat just smiled, very slightly. I think there are things that should be kept to yourself, the answer did not deny, but also did not confirm. A deft and brave tact, something only Cat could do, after years of living in the stormy entertainment industry. However, to Sam, that answer was a message that the distance between them was now longer than any bridge could bridge. Sleepless nights and unfinished plays. Sam had been having trouble sleeping since the scandal broke. Not because of fear of public opinion, but because the memories of his relationship with Caitriona kept coming back to him, like repeated cuts on the same unhealed wound. He clearly remembered the first time they read the script for Outlander Season 1 in a hotel in Glasgow. They sat across from each other, eyes locked as they read the first lines of Jamie and Claire. Neither of them knew that the love scene would become legendary, and so would their relationship. Do you trust me? Yes, I trust you. It wasn't just a line from a movie. In that moment, Sam believed that Cat truly believed him. No, he needed her to believe him. That trust was the foundation for 8 seasons, and for a friendship that many outsiders had once suspected was love. But now, that foundation was crumbling, and Sam felt like he was the one who had broken it. He intended to write a new script, a stage play to revive him, a role strong enough to overshadow any scandal. But every time he sat down to write, he saw Cat on stage with him, her eyes solemn, her lines overlapping memories. Without her, he couldn't write, and then, after dozens of sleepless nights, he realized, what he needed wasn't a new play. What he needed was forgiveness. The last letter. Sam wrote a second letter to Cat. Not an email, not a text, but a handwritten letter. He wrote in the neat handwriting of a schoolboy who had made a mistake. Cat, I don't know what you think of me now. Maybe angry, maybe disappointed, maybe completely empty. And I understand. But if there's even a small part of you that believed I was someone good enough to spend nearly 10 years with, I hope that part of you will help you finish this letter. I'm not asking you to speak up for me. I don't blame you for keeping quiet. Maybe I would have done the same. I just want you to know, I hurt because I lost my best friend. And I hurt because I was the one who lost it. Thank you for believing in me, Sam. He put the letter in an envelope. No address, just to Caitriona. If you still have a heart. He wasn't sure if he would send it. But writing it down helped him unburden himself. The surprise invitation. A few days later, Sam's assistant told him he had been invited to a major American talk show, the last interview about Outlander before the final season aired. Sam hesitated. He knew he would be asked about the scandal, about his relationship with Caitriona, about missing the rap party. But then, the assistant whispered, Cat's going too. They want you two to appear together. Sam's heart skipped a beat. She said yes. Yes, but only if you say yes, too. On the final stage, the talk show was being filmed in New York, with an audience of devoted fans, even if they were divided. Backstage, Sam stood in the waiting room, taking a deep breath. The door opened. Cat walked in. She was wearing an ash-gray suit, her hair pulled back in a bun, her eyes expressionless. But Sam realized, she was still the same Cat she'd always been, sharp, confident, and unyielding. He stood up, nodded. Hello, Cat. She nodded back. Silence. Then abruptly, you don't need to explain. I know it's mostly an exaggeration. I just don't know how to react when people use my name to attack you, or call me a traitor. Sam paused. His voice was hoarse. I don't blame you. I blame myself. Cat looked at him, for the first time in months. I'm disappointed, but never hateful. That, to Sam, was like a sword slash through a tangle of pent-up emotions. For a few seconds, he felt forgiven. A broken ending, but true. On stage, they sat next to each other, as they had hundreds of times before. The host cleverly mentioned the difficulties of the past, asking Sam about his current feelings. Sam replied simply, "I was wrong in many ways. But there is one thing I always got right. I was lucky to have Caitriona as my co-star. And to whom I owe the biggest apology." The audience was silent. Kat just smiled, very slightly. At the end of the show, when the host asked, "If you could go back in time, would you choose each other to play Jamie and Claire?" Sam looked at Kat. She answered for him, "Yes. And I would still trust him again. But this time, I hope he won't let me down." The whole audience burst into light laughter and applause. Sam bowed his head, no longer the proud Jamie Fraser, but a man who had lost his way, but was trying to move on.